Good afternoon, everybody. Is everybody ready? Okay. A little closer. Does this work all right for folks? Anybody not ready? All right. Good afternoon. My name is Jared Rollison. It's spelled J-A-R-E-D. My last name is R-O-W-L-I-S-O-N. I'm a captain with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office. I'll be here to provide an update on the first part of a frightening incident that happened this morning into this afternoon. And then Denver Police Technician Jay Casillas will continue the update of events that happened after a pursuit was concluded. So this morning at about 10:48, we got a 911 call at the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office from a man in the town of Strasburg who reported that his car was stolen after being confronted by a man with a gun. This victim of ours went out to his car to retrieve some items and was confronted by this man who demanded his wallet and keys. The victim complied with the demand, and the suspect left with the car. This all occurred in the 1400 block of Main Street in the town of Strasburg. Our dispatch center immediately sent deputies to respond to this call. In the process, one of our deputies observed the victim's stolen car traveling westbound on I-70. That deputy was able to get in behind that stolen car, and in the meantime, we also had an investigator who was in the area. That investigator was able to contact our victim and verify the series of events that happened to start with, including the fact of the use of a firearm in this crime. That information was passed to the deputy behind the car, and that deputy tried to stop the stolen car. However, the driver and the suspect did not stop, and the pursuit continued in towards the city. At times, the pursuit did reach speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour. However, it did slow down once everyone got in towards the city. Once traffic congestion started bogging down, the suspect slowed down to speeds of about 25 miles an hour, as our deputies reported, and eventually our deputies were able to get the car stopped in the area of I-70 and Washington. Once the car was stopped, our deputies were issuing a number of commands to this person in the car to get out of the car so that he could be safely taken into custody. In the meantime, we had been talking, our dispatch center was talking with the Denver Police Department, and they were sending a number of officers to assist our deputies. So at this point, I'll pass the update off to Technician Casillas. He'll be able to provide further information of what happened after our deputies were able to get that car stopped. Sir?
My name's Jay Casillas, J-A-Y. Last name is C-A-S-I-L-L-A-S. So after the vehicle was stopped, Denver officers went to assist. Denver officers went to assist, and several commands were issued for the suspect to comply, and the suspect did not comply. Less lethal rounds were used to try to gain compliance. Sometime later, officers and deputies heard a gunshot come from the vehicle. When officers approached the vehicle, they observed the suspect with a gunshot wound that appeared to be self-inflicted. There was a handgun that was found inside the vehicle. The suspect was transported to the hospital, where he was later pronounced deceased. Denver Police will be conducting this death investigation, and when we have more updates, we'll provide them for you. Are there any questions?
I-70 be closed?
At this point, we don't have a time frame, so as soon as we can get it open, we'll advise you through Twitter.
People expect, as they're heading home from work, that it will be closed?
For the time being, yes, it will be closed. It can be there's no real time frame at this point. Hopefully soon.
Does the vehicle belong to the suspect, or can you say if it was a stolen vehicle?
I'd be happy to address that. This was not the suspect's vehicle. The suspect, our investigation has told us that the suspect confronted our victim outside of a business in the town of Strasburg as our victim was trying to retrieve some personal items from the car.
What kind of business was it?
I believe it was a liquor store, and I'm not sure what our victim. I'm not sure if our victim had business at the liquor store or was just in the area at this point. That's one of the details our investigators are still trying to determine.
Captain, how did you get the car to stop?
Those details I'm not clear on yet. Our deputies, I haven't been able to talk with our deputies to get the specifics yet, and that's part of the overall investigation that we at the Sheriff's Office will be looking at for our criminal side of things, as well as the Denver officers will be looking at as far as the death investigation goes as well.
Were there multiple deputies in cars that were there at the time of the stop?
Yes, I don't know the specific number of deputies, but it was more than a couple. We had a number of deputies in the area responding to the call, and then once it was coming into the city, others came into the area as well. I want to thank the Colorado State Patrol for assisting us in this pursuit and helping us make sure it was as safe as we could be coming into town as well. They assisted us as well, so I'm grateful for them helping us out.
Can you say anything about?
Fire any shots?
I will allow Technician Casillas to address that.
We don't believe that any shots were fired by deputies or officers.
Jay, you said less lethal rounds were used. Can you talk about that and what decision goes into making? Yeah, how do you make that decision when to use less?
Right.
lethal
Well,
rounds?
this suspect was armed and had committed a crime already, so we wanted to be as safe as possible. And sometimes these less lethal rounds can help accomplish that safely.
And what are those?
The rounds that were used, pepper ball, 40 millimeter, and beanbag. Each.
Can you say anything about the suspect? Whether they think he's local, meaning Arapahoe County, that particular area there, or had been traveling through Strasburg?
Not too.
Yeah, I don't. Not speaking for Denver Police Department in their death investigation. Our deputies did not know at the time who the suspect was, and I myself have not learned who he is yet. So, sir?
Right. Once we get the identity from the medical examiner's office, we can probably talk more about that.
Captain, can you say when the chase started and where exactly it started on I-70? When did the deputy first contact the guy?
I don't remember the exact mile marker of where it started. It was west of Strasburg. I don't want to guess at this point. It was west of there, and he followed for a period of time while our investigator was contacting and getting some more information from our victim.
And the victim was not hurt.
That's correct. Our victim was unhurt, thankfully.
How dangerous was the situation from the chase to the end?
Sure. Well, this was a dangerous and frightening situation for sure. First of all, for our victim, it's frightening and terrifying to be confronted by somebody who has a gun and is demanding your wallet and your car keys. Our victim wisely just gave those things up. Those are things and very, very frightening circumstance for him. Coming into town, it was something, a chase that is going in excess of 100 miles an hour. Man, the community safety is very much at the forefront of our minds. Our supervisors who were working patrol today were monitoring it very actively. Here we were getting regular updates of speeds and directions and locations and so on. So for this man not to stop after stealing a car from an innocent citizen at gunpoint, this was dangerous. We needed to find this person and get him stopped before he was perhaps able to do something else to another citizen.
Did the stop happen right here because traffic was at a standstill?
I'm not sure of the circumstances exactly of why it stopped here. We were able to just make it happen here. So the details of that I'm not clear on at this point. We can certainly update that later on.
Can either of you you just speak to the difficulty for officers contacting someone on an interstate like that as other cars are going by and having to deal with the situation? How do you even go about that?
Certainly, this is something our deputies and certainly all officers train for is an incident like this. And not necessarily speaking for Denver Police Department or anyone else, but the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office, these are circumstances that we train for. On a rural interstate, which is more or less what Strasburg is, and out in that area, yeah, there's still plenty of traffic out there, and those deputies must be aware of all that's going on around them. Traffic coming and going, and that they're passing as well. To include the supervisors who are monitoring this, I heard traffic, radio traffic of, hey, make sure that we're keeping mind of the speeds and the traffic and so on. That's something that is at the forefront of everybody's mind in this, to make sure that not only are we able to find the person who committed this crime, but also make sure that the community is safe as possible as well.
You want to do your job, but you're mindful of the danger to everybody else too. So is there a point when you say, you know, we can't do this anymore?
Yeah, generally speaking, yes. There is a time, and it's very circumstantial to when do we stop a pursuit. And I know that was on the minds of our supervisors and our deputies today. In fact, I heard them discussing that on the radio as well. Hey, if traffic gets too tough, you're still going too fast, we need to call it off. As I mentioned before, with the traffic becoming more congested, our suspect slowed his speed as well. And for a good chunk of this incident, he was traveling around 25 miles an hour from what our deputies reported over the radio. I don't have that information at this point in time, as far as if he was wanted for anything else or what else he might have been involved in.
Other than him taking his own life, apparently, the way it ended up without anybody else on the highway or any other officers getting hurt.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question, sir.
Your reaction to the way it ended, other than him taking his own life.
I'm sorry, my reaction? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, I'm grateful to our partners at the Colorado State Patrol and also the Denver Police Department. Our deputies got this car stopped and really didn't know what they had other than a stolen car that was stolen at gunpoint. Those deputies, I mean, that's a stressful situation for them. They were calling for help from the area agencies immediately, and we are incredibly grateful that Denver got a number of their officers on scene very quickly and actively engaged immediately with trying to get this person to come out compliantly. So we are very grateful for the assistance from our partners. Yep.
And was Denver officers that fired the less?
I'll allow Technician Casillas.
That still remains under investigation at this point of who fired the less lethal rounds.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yep.